Hello and welcome to 30 Old, 30 Young, the podcast about people doing their 30s differently. Today I am joined by a content creator, a dancer, a traveller, a boxerciser, an astrologer, and potentially granddaughter of the year. It's Domi Marsh.
Yay! That was
there you go. I've stolen that from another podcast, but it's fine. People love it when we do it. So okay, you are my co-host today, though, because Charlotte was unable. So you are stepping in as co-host. So the honour is all yours.
I'll do my best. Thank you so much.
I mean, when Charlotte and I were talking about this podcast, we wanted to talk about people who are doing their 30s differently. Have you always wanted to do the travelling? Has it always been like as long as you can remember?
I think traveling has always been in my kind of like world because of my parents both being not English, not from the UK. Mm. So like my mom is American, my dad is Irish. So we kind of grew up always going to see the family.
Irish American heritage. You were traveling back and forth. Were you kind of like? Did you ever? Because I feel bad saying it, but you know when you would always go like family for holidays. Did you ever think like, oh, could we go somewhere else? Like, did you get bored of going back to the same places, or did you kind of like enjoy every single time?
It's quite funny because as a kid, I think we all, or maybe not we all, but I definitely found America like the most exciting place because we always went Easter and Halloween. I fucking loved it because they're so, I can swear, right?
Oh yeah.
Because then they just do it so big, those holidays. They're just so over the top. Like the chocolate and then all the costumes and stuff. So I did love the States, and I always was so sad whenever I left.
Yeah, you probably felt like you were walking into a film set, basically. If it's set up for Halloween, set up for Easter, it was like, oh, it is just like that. And you see like the high schools and stuff, and like all the it's how big everything is over there. Like you would drive past a tiny little high school, but they've got an American football pitch and a running track around it. You're like, the facilities here are just outrageous compared to back home, and you don't believe it until you see it. And like you said, because we didn't really have internet as much back then, it wasn't open. The gap of knowledge was still there, so the mystery was still there, the surprise was still there.
So I'm with you as well, because when you see like the college films and like that was definitely the key for me because we're a big film family, and I was always set in America, so I was like, my family's out there, and I kind of at the time resonated them with a little bit more because they're a little sillier than some of the. I freaking love my Irish fam, but they're also dotted everywhere. So I've got Irish cousins in Ireland, France, and Australia. So we didn't see each other as much. It was mostly just my grandparents. I didn't get much fun, and there was a huge age gap. Whereas in the States, I was the first grandkid, and so I was just obviously golden child.
Of course.
And just like having, it was really fun. So I love the States, but now as I kind of look back and get a little older, it's annoying because it's such a big country, but we only ever really go to Baltimore, which is where mom's from.
Which state was it? Sorry, cut out a little bit there. Which state is your mum from?
Baltimore. Well, the state is
state of Maryland.
Yeah. It's just quite funny because they don't say Baltimore, they say Baltimore when you're in rural.
They skip a syllable.
It's kind of like Nottingham, like you don't say Nottingham.
Oh, yeah, true.
But so I guess growing up basically was a lot of internationalness. I don't have any any other family apart from mom, dad, and Nick in the UK, so I never fully resonated with it being like home.
Mm-hmm.
I just always felt like I came from such a bopping family, like I bopped around that I bopped around. So I think there's just always been a need and a want to like see the world.
I remember I would be going to Wisconsin to see my granddad, and obviously the novelty was there for him at first, but then because we'd go so often, we'd kind of just be doing his daily routine, and that gets old really quick. And I'm using my holiday from school, and we're going to go get a caravan wheel fixed. It's just like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
What is this? People are in Disneyland right now, and I'm at some terrible place in Wisconsin. But it does get. But I'm going to probably. This is why with our kids, obviously with them having Canadian grandparents, we're going to try and keep meeting them in different places. Obviously, as they get older, we want them to see Canada and things like that. But we're like going to meet next year and potentially like Portugal. They're going to come over to Portugal. We're going to get a house there and just have a chill for 2 weeks. So, they get to see different things. And then eventually when they're old enough, like I said, and we brave that 8-hour flight, 9-hour flight again, We just did it for Florida, and it was a lot. So if we do that again, when they're a bit older and they can just chill, have their own seat, they'll absolutely love it. But I want to kind of keep the novelty there a bit more. Then
I mean, I know Nick, my brother, still stays. He's like, I'm going to stay awake the whole time and watch as many films as I can. And the new fit, like that's always our favorite bit. Was how many films did you watch? Which films did you watch on the plane?
Oh yeah, you've got to bash about 4 out. I watched half an hour of one, and then Coop woke up, and it was game over. That was it.
Yeah, so much respect.
To be honest, they were. I think we painted a picture in our head of how horrendous it was going to be. Then when it actually came down to it, it wasn't as bad. It was half as bad as that. Mm-hmm. So half as bad as horrendous. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Also, I think it's a really good point, by the way, about going to see family and just kind of using your holidays to slot into that every day. Because then it doesn't feel like as much of a holiday, especially for my parents. Like my mom's going to see her mom. And I think you come away sometimes feeling a bit more tired than when you left, because you've like, is that family dynamic? And like, now that she's older, they're helping with the admin and like repairing or like getting a new fridge and stuff like that. And it isn't as much of a holiday. Yeah. And that's a really good idea for you guys to like meet them elsewhere. And we do try and do it a little bit, try and get them out of Baltimore. But the States is a funny place, and it is, holidays are less. And
that's it. Yeah.
Whole thing. But yeah, it's a really good idea.
Yeah. That's nice. Your last year, because you're talking about your grandma, is that the grandma you... Yeah, of course it is, because your other grandma's Irish. So that's the grandma you moved in with. So how long ago was that now? When you...
So May. So I basically officially kind of moved out of London last May.
So it was, it was a year ago then, yeah.
Yeah, which is wild, actually.
You've had a mad year.
Yeah, like a really weird, unplanned, but planned, I guess, because I didn't want a huge amount of it. It was... I've been in London... apart from like a year out, I've been there for 12 years. I moved straight from university to London and just been part of that grind and that hustle for that long. So officially moving out in May was a huge deal. In my head, I was like, I need some space. I need to kind of get away from all the distractions, because I'm very good at making plans, seeing my friends, bopping around. Like, I'm very good at it. Mm-hmm. But it is obviously, it comes with a price of either burnout or just like not getting as much done as I'd like to do. So in my head, I was like, right, let's go somewhere where I don't have to pay any rent. I can see the family, good weather, but I can focus on relaunching my consultancy and just see how that would look abroad, and how much I can work online, because I'm not very online kind of person. I do work in hospitality. I do love events. I'm really good face to face. So for me to kind of see, right, can I travel and can I actually do this thing? Can I travel for a few years and work from anywhere? Let's see. That was the goal. And then I thought, yeah, it makes sense to kind of launch it, like start doing that from the States, which is, I had a lot of people saying, oh my God, that's so brave. And I don't really find it brave, because I was just going to my grandma's house that just happened to be 8 hours away, in a different country. So yeah, that was the goal, but it didn't really go to plan. Yeah, I didn't really, very naively, I've never obviously seen my grandparents for a big chunk of time. So I naively was like, this would be super cute, because I did do it once back when I was 24, so like 10 years ago. I did a summer with her before I then did a little like traveling gap year thing. And that kind of went tits up back then as well, because I had this romanticized view of me and her being besties and having a really cute time together. But yeah, she's stuck in her ways, just with little things like, not putting the blinds up. I'm a big natural light girl, so she'd be like, keep the blinds down. I don't want people to look into this house and steal things. And like,
okay.
Yeah. So this time I was a bit more realistic, but now she's so much older that she needed help. And then she actually also got diagnosed with breast cancer whilst I was out there, which is fine.
Oh, shit.
But I wasn't ready for any of that. So it actually ended up being a bit of like me being a bit of a carer, to be honest, and just keeping her company.
That is the same as my granddad. He was set in his ways. Like I said, like when we would go over, we would just join into his routine, because that's the way he's always done things. And times it's like, it does get frustrating, and you kind of have to give yourself a nudge to remind yourself, like, I know it sounds bad because he passed away during COVID, so we weren't even able to go to his funeral, weren't able to go across. But you just kind of have to kind of remind yourself, like, not going to be around for that long, and kind of gives it. But over a 6-week or extended period, even if you're reminding yourself daily that they're not going to be around forever, don't get annoyed. You're still going to get annoyed because you still want to do the things you went over to not have any distractions, and then you managed to get yourself a full-time job as a carer. You know, it's gonna annoy you, and it sounds terrible. I feel bad saying it, but it is one of those things that it's gonna, and especially you didn't want distractions, and then there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing not much of your work got done while you're out there.
What does Man v Fat mean to you?
Lose weight and enjoy a game of football.
Mental health, camaraderie.
Friends, football, fat loss.
Reverse my diabetes.
Big, sweaty, fun.
Life-changing football.
Better and healthy lifestyle.
Good competitive sport.
Teamwork, banter and weight loss.
Create a winning mentality to lose fat.
Hard work regime and football.
It means sustainable weight loss.
Don't let the boys down and don't let yourself down.
Man v Fat. Weigh, play, lose, win.
Yeah, no, I went out with, I did have a job that I was finishing that kind of started in London, and it was kind of a mix of online and on the ground events and hospitality bits and bobs. I was finishing that out there. So I'd have to be like, Gran, I'm going to go down the street to the market and work for a few hours. And she'd be like, okay. And then, she'd call me and be like, where are you? And like, what's for lunch? And it was just, oh my God. Otherwise she'd be like, pick me up a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, you have high cholesterol. Don't make me pick you up a cheese sausage and cheese, egg and sausage on a croissant. I mean, that's so.
I've had it. Yeah. If there's a food out there, I've had it. I've been to all of them. It's just you got to. When we just went for 3 weeks, and I've got a wedding tomorrow, and I've had to up my trousers. I've got to go collect my slightly larger trousers because we're in Florida, and I just went in on everything. I was like,
it's so intriguing. You see like the food combinations. You're like hash browns on a bed of sausage, like a sausage tower of like cheesy. I just love food so much.
I just want to see what this is going to do to me. Let's find out. I mean, the amount, and the weirdest one, and I got so much stick from the family while I was out there because it was just like I kept eating Peeps. The little.
Yeah, Easter Peeps.
I kept finding a new flavour and then buying them. And so I'd turn up and was like, does anybody want a Dr. Pepper Peep? No? No one wants a Rice Krispie Treat Peep? No, just me? All right, I'll have 15. I had, I think, 5-6 flavours. Easily.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's like 80, and I was on the hunt. I was trying to find them.
In your spare time, apart from raising actual children and having a full-time job, start
a Peep review page, exclusively that. I'll run out of content after 80 videos, but
Sounds like it's a bit X-rated as well, so we'll definitely get some accidental.
Oh, true. Yeah, I'll take the accidental traffic. Absolutely fine. But so, leaving the rat race, London straight from uni, was it always like, I have to go to London because that's where jobs are, success is? That's what everyone does? Because I was tempted. I was like, oh, it is there. Everyone's going. I should also go. Yeah. And then I was like, nah. And then I visited my friend, and he was living in a flat with about 17 people. And he was like, I'm paying £1,000. I was like, this isn't for me. I like my comforts. So I was like, I'm just going to stay where I can afford it.
I think that's quite mature though as well for you to make that decision back then, because I very much, it feels like I was swept with that like current to London, because I'm 21. I very much see myself as a teenager with a teenage brain still then. And I was like, well, everyone's doing it, so it must be the thing to do. So yeah, there was no doubt in my mind. There was no questioning it. It was just the done thing. And
did you have something lined up, or was it just like, because you were just like, I'll get down there and figure it out?
So I studied politics at Leeds, which is random, but basically I was kind of told by a few people and maybe some family members that events management wasn't a real course at the time. But then hilariously enough, there was a talk one day by someone from Carluccio's, that Italian restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And they were doing like a graduate scheme chat, and I went to it. I applied for it, And out of thousands of applicants, or a couple thousand or something, I was one of the 7 people that was accepted into it, which is great. No. I got that before I even graduated with the 2-2, the Desmond.
But a job.
Got a job.
2-2 with a job. It's fine.
Well, the 2-2. I mean, I think as well, at one point I remember them saying, everyone got a 2-1, right? It was like a throwaway comment, and we were all at like the welcome thing, and I was like, no. I'm way too honest for my own good.
See, I would have to be like, if they said they had a 2-1 thing, I'd just be like, yeah. No, I
was too scared they would like.
Or they were just going to be like, shh, you've signed it now. It's too much paperwork for us to get it. Just leave it. You got one.
No, exactly. I think for me, they saw the that kind of American-esque hospitality. Oh my God, I love to make people happy. Like, I still remember that interview, and I have the worst memory, but I remember just being like, because I waitressed from like 15, 16, and that was pretty much it. But I friggin' loved it, and I loved like just being a part of experiences and making people happy, like even if it's just a moment, or like I saw a couple proposals every now and then at dinner and stuff. And I was like, this is great. This is what I'm good at, because I'm good at giving my energy. I never felt very academic or even intellectual. I always was like, what I'm good at is making an experience, making people happy, making people laugh. And there's kind of that performing side of it that I kind of, caught myself being. And I think they felt that, and they were like, this girl's moldable.
Well, there you go. So you knew your strengths early on, and they saw it as well. And basically, at the end of the day, I always feel like people want to hire people they want to work with rather than necessarily, like, on paper, the most qualified. Obviously, I don't want to like shut down what you were putting forward on paper, but like they just saw that you had it.
I got that energy. They knew they could break me and create a little Curly Cheers moldable.
And obviously they're thriving now. They've got one in Derby, so
shout out to the Curly Cheers brand. It was so sick for so long, but unfortunately I think they sold, and then I think they tried to expand quite quickly. They tried to go to the States, they tried to go to DC, and you just felt it in so many, especially the London branches. Like I was there for about 3-4 years, and it broke me. The training broke me, but then, when they tried to expand, there was one manager per site, and at times you'd have 2 people on shift, just me and 2 other waiters or like team members, and like 2 chefs in the kitchen, and you've got a full restaurant on a Tuesday night because there was a show somewhere you didn't realize, and you're running around just doing it. Like I was on the deli slicing meat, and then I'm making a coffee, and then I'm running to help the chefs, and then I'm running this, and then someone's complained, and then by the time you're finished, it's 2 a.m. and then you've cashed out, you go home and you're like, oh shit, I need to do the opening. So you do your back-to-back, or close open. And you do that a couple times a week, and then you're in the hospitality rat race. So then you're comparing to your mates, like, oh, I did 90 hours this week. And it's at the time you're trying to sound cool, but you are exhausted.
You are dead on your feet. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't ready for that. And I, again, was super naive for a lot of it, but I lost a lot of friends. I didn't see a lot of my friends because, again, we all came down to London, but they were all doing 9-to-5s. And I couldn't communicate that I was struggling. So instead, they would just hear from me in group chats from just like 3 a.m. and guys, I'm tired and I hate this. And I wasn't able to kind of give back as a friend and ask about them or whatnot. So it was a really hard, kind of dark, lonely 3.5, 4 years. And then my parents kind of came down every now and then to see me, and they'd be like, this isn't you. You're not doing very well.
What are you doing? Yeah. I mean, and the night shift, because that's basically what you were doing, is close it by the fact that you were closing up at 3 and then not even having to wait until the next night shift being straight up on open. The night shift does damage anyway, let alone considering you were back in 5-6 hours later or however. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's mad. I mean, also money as well. Your mate started on the 30k graduate scheme and I'm on 21k.
Yeah, luckily the service industry get loads of money and loads of respect, so you had all that to lean on.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mad thing. I saw this thing where it's like everyone, like a national service, everyone should have to do a year in the service industry.
I say this all the time.
Yeah,
even just
got to
weeks, like
because they don't get it. I've been at meals with people who are rude to service. I keep saying service members as if they are actually in the army, but I mean like to wait staff and things like that. I'm just like, why? Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Also, just people. Some people aren't even rude. Like my dad, shout out Big Tone, we love him, but he has technically never had a customer service like a customer facing job. It was always office. So every now and then he'd just be a bit like at the beginning, not anymore, because we very much he got it after I was there. He just wouldn't understand like why certain things would take a second, or like the flow of it. Like if he's asked for the bill, why it's not there. I'm like, they're just running that food, and then it comes to little things like that. Which again, 6 weeks to 6 months compulsory customer facing jobs for the win. It just expect the empathy and just human compassion and just a bit of face to face.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, because that whole thing there. I mean, now everything with, because I don't really like Uber Eats or anything like that. If I am going to have something from a restaurant, I'd rather go to the restaurant, eat at the restaurant or whatever. Obviously, I'm going to drive through a McDonald's, fine. But for the most part, I do want to have the service of the service industry rather than just the product. Because that's you miss out otherwise.
Yeah,
you're just sat at home watching TV eating a burger.
We've all seen this
doesn't do the job.
Film. Yeah, we've all seen scary films where we will just stop going out and it's the people. What's that world like? Not Utopia, the opposite of Utopia, like the Black Mirror stuff, which I don't watch. It scares me. But
what's that? Idiocracy? Have you seen that?
No. What is it?
It's just a silly social commentary where this guy gets frozen, wakes up 300 years later in America, and everyone's just got like more and more dumb as time's gone on, and so everyone's just like talking to each other in like grunting language and stuff like that, and it's all from just the phones and the tablets and everything like that, and TV shows getting worse and worse, and just being sounds on a screen and like a splat of a tomato against the wall and then laugh track, and that would be it. But the best part, and this is my somewhat fun fact about it, is they wanted to make it seem like, well, if people have got more and more stupid, then everything they wear would be more and more stupid. So they were like, we need something to kind of be like something lazy that people would wear that they could just like fall into or whatever. So they went out and had a look for everything, and it came down to the shoes. So they went out and looked for some shoes that were just ridiculous and no one of sane mind would buy. And so they bought, I think, about 3,000 pairs of these shoes for all the extras and everything like that. The money that they gave to this company allowed them to become this massive company because they bought Crocs. It was all Crocs, and Crocs became a huge name off the back of the funding from this film.
That's amazing.
Crazy. And you see them, they're all like spray painted, like metallic, so they look futuristic. But yeah, they're all Crocs. Mental.
That's so cool. I love that.
And now I bought some for Bryn, and she's got them, and I'm just like, I still haven't committed. I still will not wear Crocs. But
yeah, I'm so close. I mean, I've got some plastic fake Birkenstocks out here because your shoes just get wet all the time, so there's no point having.
So Crocs would actually be handy for you.
It'd be great out here. Some girls are in like platform Crocs out here, which just stresses me out because I'm like, trust your ankle, baby girl. But
yeah, how's that gonna? Doesn't have a bounce to it. How are they solid? It's gone too far. It was already, Crocs were already too far. But yeah, so it is that whole like dumbing down. I do think people need to get out there and actually be nice to service staff. But I know full well the generation above us would still be like, well, when I did my 6 months, I was a lot more efficient than this. Like it still wouldn't, it was not perfect. It wouldn't work on them. When I think of remote work, what you're doing is how I would want it to be if I was doing it.
Sri Lanka just for some reason was always in my head. I used to always say to people, I'm going to go to Sri Lanka. And they'd be like, why? And I'm like, I honestly have no idea. It came out one day from my mouth and it's forever just then been locked in my head. I didn't know that many people that came here. But yeah, it was just kind of this weird little idea that I've had. So yeah, since restarting the consultancy and trying to do it fully from a completely different time zone on the other side of the world, it's been interesting. I mean, there's obviously been a lot of Wi-Fi problems. A few months ago, there was a coastline outage from a monkey biting through power lines. Shit, you know.
Well, that is a new version of bug in the software, isn't it? That is monkey on the power lines. That's mad. Is the monkey okay? I doubt it.
I mean, they put a picture up of a monkey, and I was assuming it wasn't that exact monkey, but
just flying through the air. Oh god.
And I'm someone that does marketing, like my phone stopped backing up and my phone was like little things that are so boring but like so necessary for some people are really quite hard here, and that's why places like this, so I'm at this place called Nets, there's a couple of co-working spaces, but they do really well because there's a lot of us that just need especially if you're like, I have a few friends here that are recruiters, a few people that need a lot of meeting and online time. They need places like this because even your laptop will overheat out there. And again, there's like weekly, kind of monthly, they used to be daily, but there's weekly to monthly power cut days or days where there's like 8 till 5, there's no power. So either you have a generator like these guys here because they know that we need it, or you just get into some shade or get by the beach and get the wind from the beach because, fuck me, it's a day. And then there's just times when the signal in general kind of, I've got a local SIM that runs off their network, and there's just days where everyone's like, is your network working?
Not having it.
No. So you do need to really kind of, not need to, but ideally you're chill. You need to stay chill. You need to, if your job is checking in with like a UK or wherever you're from, checking in with your boss there, that could be quite stressful. I had a few friends that come out for 3 months at a time, and their company, they're aware that they're coming out for like Jan till March, but they would have to work UK times, like 1 till 10 here is kind of the UK 1 p.m.
Yeah.
time, which is fine. But then you kind of miss out on dinner time or whatnot. So yeah, there's big tech things you need to be aware of, and ideally your boss kind of understands. For me, because I work for myself and because up until now, most of my clients are either friends or people that follow me or people that know me. They know that I'm chill. I'm very open about how I'm a little shit with time management. I'm pretty laid back and like, oh, I've got a friend here, so I won't be contacting. I'm not going to be online for a week.
I can be chill-ish. The problem is I think I'm chill and then I bury the anxiety that I had from being so chill down, and then suddenly one day I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. I can't be chill. I have to. Yeah. I need a routine. I can't do it. And that's what that would be the main fear about me for remote working is that, yeah, trying to, like, obviously today, you trying to get on here, you had a guy taking a mammoth dump, blocking your scooter in.
Massive cement dump. I had
mammoth, the 5G towers going up and blocking the road. I'd be having a paper bag to the mouth. I'd just be panicking. I can't stand it.
It's so funny. I mean, there's two things about that. There's where are you in the culture here? The culture is Sri Lankan time, kind of island time, and it is chill as hell. And I'm currently I've been staying with a homestay family, so I live above this gorgeous little family of 3. I'll be like on my scooter, ready to go to like come here and work or to like go meet a friend or get coffee, and like my Sri Lankan dad, Chandra, will be like, coconut? I'm like,
yeah.
And then I feel so bad saying no, because he's like, well, where are you rushing to?
What's so important?
I got my helmet on. I'm literally like, engine on, coconut. And then it's so funny because then even now I said to them, like when I was trying to come here via coffee, always, I was like, oh, I have a meeting, I have a podcast, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to explain it to them. They were like, you want to try a homemade curd? And it's rude to say no.
Because this is what you're here for. This is what you're doing the traveling for. These are the benefits of it. You can't rush off from the benefits.
Yeah, and it's really a slap in the. It's been a big wake up call because I still feel that inherent hustle culture from London and just the Western world that I brought up with. That I'm like, well, I've got to go for coffee, but then you start thinking, but do I? Like, can I not just text my friend and say, let's do an hour? And the people here and all the Western tourists / like those I've settled here, they get it. Like, whereas if I try and say that to my mates back at home, they'll be like, but we said 2:00. Like we said, FaceTime at 2. Why can't we do it?
We've organised this, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, I've always had an issue with it back in the UK, and I guess there was also an element of me running from that because I was like, I need to go somewhere where people are a little more, quote-unquote, chill, which I think is unfair to my type A friends who think that way because there does need to be an element of that, and I get that. But not to kind of use the buzzword of the century, it is very much, for me especially, it's an ADHD thing, absolutely. Okay. Undiagnosed, but I think everyone in the world met me.
I think 90% of people with ADHD are undiagnosed. So
we'll talk about it. Sure. And then the reason we don't get diagnosed is because you need to wait for like paperwork and like do something, and then we're like, I'm bored.
No, thank you. That sounds terrible.
Whether it's ADHD or type B or just kind of, again, we all just have different brains, but there's definitely a nice little type A and type B is the easiest way to talk about it. But it is the amount of people out here that I've met who have always struggled with the kind of Western keeping time and the very black and white way of working and the black and white way of living and, you know, the timelines of life, of work, of little things and texting back. Like I have always struggled, and I've always felt a little black sheep of certain groups where all my friends are very on it, very organized, and they're disciplined. And unfortunately, when you have a brain like this, and if it is ADHD, you don't produce dopamine, so you need to find the fun, the exciting things to kind of get you going. Discipline doesn't sound fun. But in the last few years, I've learned that short-term pain equals long-term gain. So when I am disciplined, when I go to the gym, when I am disciplined and send that email today instead of waiting till the very last minute and give me anxiety, because when you wait till the last minute, the anxiety also spikes that dopamine. You kind of, like, you always need to wait till the very last minute to get ready, to be in a rush to get there. Like, all these little things.
I get it. So I feel like it would take me probably a good few months to adapt to the chill. Then again, I was just in Florida, and the island time thing, it's there, but still and like nothing was really about, we were like eat when we kind of wanted to, we'd, but there was still that niggling, like, right, but I should really be doing something with this time. I should really be, going to go find a gym and stuff like that. And the gym was like 45 minutes away because we were in the middle of nowhere. So I was like, it's an hour and a half round trip. Like, really, what am I going to, I should, in that time, spend time with the family, spend time with, the in-laws, stuff like that. So I didn't bother doing any of that, but still, it was there knocking. It was there, like, you should be doing something.
The constant, how to relax, how to kind of take time out. It's really hard. The unlearning of that takes forever. And to be honest, it's a daily struggle. And I started it a while ago, like just before lockdown. I was getting really into spirituality, I guess, and like the whole self-help book thing. I read way too many for my brother's liking. He was like, just read some fiction for once. And I'm like, no, self-development. It
needs to be real.
Yeah. But it did teach me a lot, like, about kind of how to, especially again with the brain that I have, that's like 12,000 tabs open at once, learning how to meditate, because I used Headspace at first. Oh my God, game changer. Like, it taught me, the best example of it was like, when you do sit to meditate and you're like, how do I stop my brain? You're not stopping the thoughts. You're literally pretend that your thoughts are loads of cars in traffic, and you're just sitting up at the top of a hill where the sound is you're kind of watching the cars, but the sound and everything is gone. And you're just looking down and you're like, okay, there are my thoughts going back and forth, back and forth. I'm just going to take a break for a sec and just sit up here, which is really, or it's like clouds in the sky and they're going back and forth and you're looking at them, but you are not your thoughts and they're not running your life. You are observing them. And there was stuff like that really helped me, and it continues to help me when I'm so kind of in my brain.
So you have to do these kind of check-ins with yourself, and otherwise you will get...
Just run away with it, and you just forget. And the routine thing that you love and crave so much, like there's a funny kind of thing for us, again, with more type B, is I crave routine, but as soon as I'm in it, I crave anything but, because it bores me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find like a loose middle ground where I'm like, I know I need movement in the morning. I know I love to meditate, and I know I shouldn't like scroll my phone. And I know that like a little sit down coffee, like gym and coffee is like my main structure. And then everything else we hopefully figure out in the day. Like everything.
We'll get there by the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
See, my big one at the minute for me has been, and it's only been, there's two. It's the, don't put it down, put it away. That's been my big thing, because I'm just a nightmare for getting ready in the morning, try on a t-shirt, no, it's not it, put it on the floor rather than putting it in the drawer that I literally just got it from. So don't put it down, put it away. So that's been pretty good. Bree's, complimented me on that. But the other one is, if it only takes 5 minutes to do the job, do the job.
Yeah.
Because there's so many little tiny jobs where I go, I've got to do this first, and I put it off. Like you say, sending an email, making a phone call that you need to make. That if you just do them, you go, oh.
Yeah.
There's a girl on TikTok who does it. She's like, timing how long it will take me to do this job I've put off for 6 months. And she films it, it's like 15 minutes. Like, I've been stressed about this, cleaning the pantry out for 6 months, and it took me 15 minutes to do. It looks great. Right. I feel so much better. So that's what I've been trying to do. But obviously the house is filled with a lot of 5-minute jobs that need doing, and they add up. That's the other problem.
The adulting, and you're doing all of that with 2 kids, like just.
Yeah, I mean, we are lucky in the fact that our nursery is affordable quote unquote. It's basically writes off. One of us goes to work for the nursery, basically. So one salary is just gone on that. Otherwise, when it gets to the weekend where you have got 2 kids under your feet, you're getting nothing done. I mean, it's a gift that I'm able to do this right now. Coop's asleep and Bryn's watching Frozen. I mean, Brie is also there. I haven't just left Bryn two floors away watching a film. She's good. But yeah, luckily we're in a good enough routine now where you can sneak away for, a couple of hours and they're not going to come knocking. Because I told Bryn what I was doing. I think she understood. I just said, I'm on a phone call. She was like, I'll come help. I was like, no, it's fine. It's all right. It'll be boring. You don't want to be there for it. You watch Frozen, I'll come back down afterwards. She was like, okay. Then that was it. And then Coop's obviously spark out. So it's, trying to fit things in around kids. It's harder, but it is doable.
That's fair. I mean, I'm assuming you guys it's taken a while, but do you make sure you have like your time, just the two of you, to be just Jake, and then also be Jake the parent, and then also be Jake your husband, right?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
A good dad, and then just a good like independent person on your own. Like I feel like all three of them would be like
yeah. I mean, when you're trying to, it is trying to be all those things at once is the struggle. If you try and do it all at once, you just end up doing it all badly. So, like you say, compartmentalize it. So when I'm off here, I'll go down, phones away, just sit and build a Lego unicorn with Bryn. Throw a ball around with Coop, and then just give them the time. You need those little like 5-minute resets. Otherwise, you do just go mad. When you're trying to do it all, it's don't half-ass 2 things, full-ass 1.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's exactly the phrase. That's it. Because I can't do it. I will just end up doing it all badly. I need to just, like you say, compartmentalize. If I'm at work, I'm at work. And then I need to switch into these other things.
I'm terrible at that.
Oh, you are trying to do it all at once, and you're trying to be Domi the friend, Domi the business owner. It's
within 1 hour. Let's like text everyone back, upload a reel, chat to this person, learn how to gouache on my face, like write a to-do list for the 17th time. When it's really bad, it's like that. Oh, mate, I rewrite my to-do list every day, but again, I'm learning, and I've learned that is very much this whole kind of neurodivergent, different brain. Because again, we grow up thinking it's one foot after the other, do this. And for me, it's like, So I guess when it comes to parenting and like watching my friends who have now also got, 2 kids, expecting, there is this element of me, I always call it the P's, perfectionism, people pleasing, and procrastination. Of like, it rules my life a little bit. I'm a lot better at them, but I have to constantly check myself on those 3 things. Again, I'm more just like, power to you, and also kind of sharing that I obviously think about it, and it obviously stresses me out a little, but I also know you just got to jump in. Like, you're never going to be ready for anything. There's no perfect time.
No.
But I guess for me, at the minute, it's not the forefront of my
No. I mean, you've got
seeing everyone do it, and it kind of lent also to me leaving London at that time, because the weddings were finished. This is again the big 30s thing, and it still happens, but maybe it was supposed to be turn 30 in lockdown. I found that as soon as lockdown was over, the amount of weddings, I had 7 in 1 year, and that's just me single. Imagine if I was with someone and I had to go to his. So I had 7 in a year, and then now obviously everyone's having the babies, which is friggin' great. I absolutely love seeing my friends create tiny humans. It's so cool. But it's also, they have to kind of focus on that, especially for the first few years, which again, I know that you know well, like it's hard to be super present, and that's absolutely fine. It's just the chapter that we're in. But that's why I was like, this is a really good time for me to walk for however long this lasts.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Fully makes sense.
The other thing though is that I'm missing it. I'm missing my friends be moms and dads and like their kids growing up, and real cool like pangs of sadness when I'm missing this, and I'm missing her growing this baby. And I've just missed 2 of my friends have their babies. And if I was rich as hell, I would bop back and come back again. But the sacrifices everywhere. And
they would have been the things that prevent you from going in the first place are obviously going to be the things that you miss while you're out there. because they nearly made you stay. Like you said, you kept finding excuses not to do it. There's I've got that event coming, that event coming, that event coming. So when you have made the leap, you are going to look back and be like, well, if I was back in England, but it's whether kind of juice is worth a squeeze, and what you're doing out there is bringing you kind of more joy, more fulfillment, not to then being back in London, having the burnout and then seeing your friends. Like it's hard to kind of, you're never going to have, unless you manage to get everyone out there in Sri Lanka with you, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
I think
me and the girls out here, some of my friends out here now, we were talking about it and about how, again, the texting and like just how suddenly my friends out here know everything about me because I see them every day, and my besties back in London, they won't, and they don't. The time difference thing, it's hard to FaceTime all the time and give all the details. And again, texting everyone is like a full-time job. I really think I need to start doing one big voice note every Wednesday and send it to everyone. And as long as they don't mind, I'm recycling that voice note.
I've heard about this. I've heard there's this guy. Is that the thing? Have you seen the same video?
Yeah, like the Wednesday.
He sends they all send they send a voice note to their group chat of about 30 people and just give an update. What's happened in the last week? What's going on? And then everyone, 90% of them all send voice notes back, and then that's their catch up. And then they take out having to do all of the, obviously if there's follow up and whatever, but all the texting, all the back and forth, it's just all been cleared up. Yes. And they can just then focus on the next week and then voice note next time. And it's allowing, because otherwise weeks will pass and you don't see anyone, and you don't know what's happening. It's crazy.
Yeah. I also think we've created such an annoying, no offense everyone, really annoying demand and expectation of like how much you should text each other. I'm so sorry. I cannot do the hi, how are you every day. I just cannot.
That's great. That's crazy. No.
I think girls, we're a little worse than boys. And the lads are so good, just be like, all right, yeah, here's some memes. And then the girls are like, give me the details. And I'm like, okay. But then how much, like tomorrow the details might have changed, then I need to update again. Again, different friends for different details. But I have so many different groups as well. So then this is why I live on Instagram sometimes, because I feel so...
You're clearing it all up.
Reply to everyone. So I just put up stories. I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Love you. If you need me, I will be there if you call me. But if it's just general chit chat, it might fall away. Like I've got 32 unread WhatsApps at all time.
But the problem is we've got the always available culture. You've got the always checking in on your friends culture, because that's a new pressure that's been added on. Like, you should always be replying to your friends because you never know what state they're in, and they might have needed a. But like you're saying, if it is just inane, they're checking in on you, so then you're then checking in. You're replying because you got to make sure that you're checking back in on them, and it's just this like blah 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 blah. And you're like, we're both actually probably all right. And if you, it's communication, but if you need something, just reach out and say like you said in the 3 a.m. chat, guys, this is shit. I need to talk to someone. I need to vent or whatever. Like that's if someone then ignores that, rude. But that's like a complete obvious like call for help that I think communication wise we all need to work on, because otherwise, you do have just a ton of messages back and forward.
You need to distinguish,
it just goes forever.
Yeah.
And you don't get anything done. It's just like.
Also, I think the funny part, we've talked about this recently in my friendship groups between guys and gals, and however anyone identifies. It's more like the lads tend to, again, huge sweeping statement. You guys boys meet up and play sports or like do something usually. Yeah. Like in the UK, we love the pub, but generally I tend to be like, if boys make a fun plan, it involves some kind of activity or like trying something new or whatever. When we girls meet up, it tends to be like meet up for a drink or a sit down and a chat. It's just always chatting and the debrief. And I friggin' love a fat chat over like a bottle of wine or something with my girls. Mm-hmm. It is the best, but I also think we can sometimes just, it's a bit too much and like it's over. I don't know. I think sometimes we just go so deep, and I go very deep. I'm one of the most overthinking, love like sometimes picking it apart too much. And I just think it's great to not always do that. And it's not that deep is something bringing myself back to, I guess, because I like to over intellectualize like thoughts and feelings and stuff. And sometimes I'm just feeling a certain way. You are not your thoughts. get into the sea, go sweat, and it tends to go away. And I think that's it was a huge thing that I learned in the past 5-10 years, because again, with a brain like this, it's easy to fall into anxiety and depression and overthink it too much, and kind of because you can't handle how your brain is like bopping around. And as a girl, we feel sometimes a little more, and because we have a 28-day, every day
is pretty. Yeah. That's why men go out and find their own problems, That's why we got to mess ourselves up. But I mean, we got to find a middle ground, because, like you say, you're doing the deep talks going into it. And then the other end, like, I just went to the stag do in Munich, and one of the guys flew over from Australia to be at the stag do, and he stayed out for the wedding as well. And Brie was like, "Oh, how's he finding?" Because he's just moved there. And Brie was like, "How's Ollie finding Australia?" The middle ground between boys, girls, men, women is that, like you say, you guys are oversharing, talking about everything. We have to have a preface as to why we're meeting. We can't just meet for a chat. We have to meet because the Champions League semi-finals, or go play paddle or whatever. And then afterwards we go like, oh, someone will open up about something. But if that person doesn't open up about, like, let's say Bree said, "Yeah, how's Ollie finding Australia?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
He was like, he's just moved to a new country. And I was like, "Yeah, he's there. He's been doing it. And then he was in Germany with us. That's it. Like, it's just like how your friend has moved to a different country and you've not." I said, "You moved to a different country," and she was like, "Yeah." And my friends asked me how I'm doing in the different country. But if Ollie said to us like, "Oh, guys, Australia's not what I thought it was going to be," or, "Oh, guys, I'm loving it. You guys need to get out there," then it opens the conversation. But they need to be the people to say it, because we aren't ones to be like. And I do think I'm with quite a metrosexual friends group. Like, I even heard on the stag do someone talking about their skincare routine. So, I know I'm not with the bunch of like feelings of for the week. We will be open, but we always have to have the ball served to us, if you see what I mean.
You're getting it's definitely getting better, and I definitely feel for the lads. Like, I'm excited by how the conversation is definitely moving. I see online like a few men. I saw a guy today saying he's hosting a men's circle, because there's lots of women's circles, and we love a good chat, and we love to kind of get in touch. But there's a few more and more it's popping up that like we know men need to talk more, because the stats don't lie. Like, the suicide rates and everything is really, really sad. And generalizing, I'm happy with how the conversation is changing. But then also, for someone like me who is just such a deep feeling person, I'm also proud of myself for when I can like take a step back, remember I'm not my thoughts, and remember that it's not always that deep. And that is why places like this are great. I don't want people to think that like to change your life you need to move. Absolutely not. It's more, that was just me. I know a lot of people that have come out here, they love coming out for a month or two, and they're like, "I'm so excited to get back into my London routine and whatnot." And I might become again, like, I don't know. I friggin' love London. It's one of the best cities in the world, especially for hospitality and like new things happening. I'm so excited to go back, because I actually go back in June for a month.
You're London, June, and then you are back to Sri Lanka?
London, June, and then, no, because it will be very rainy and there's not a lot open, and it just won't, I don't think it will be.
You're just going to have to go somewhere else.
Much. I'm thinking Portugal. I'm thinking Italy. I want to do a little European sitch. I know a lot of people here that do Sri Lanka and Portugal, again, because they are hardcore surfers. And the surfing is great. It's obvious now.
I don't know how I add those, join those dots together. Of course, Portugal's basically all coast. Well, it is all coast. Yeah, all coastline. Of course, they're going to be known for surfing.
Yeah. I know we sound so, we grew up in the Midlands. There ain't
literally furthest away from water you could be. Yeah.
No water. There's no ski. There's no surf. Like, I'm jealous of a lot of Cornwall, Devon, Huns out here as well.
Yeah.
And also, weirdly, a lot of Bristol people. Don't know why. It's just coming to Bristol a lot. So, and they've got this place in Bristol that I've not heard of called the Wave, where you can it's like artificial wave center. You can go in, you can surf. I don't know.
They've got bored of the wave and they've come out to experience the real stuff.
So it's very seasonal. Yeah, I'm looking at like house sitting websites, and I know there's a few, especially in Portugal. It's very digital nomad, for lack of a better term, friendly.
Nice.
So that's what the goal is this week, is trying to kind of figure it out, because I know I will. I've got, there's always someone with a couch or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing I've realized in the last, since coming here and since doing the online Dom side of life, I've ended up getting clients kind of like, I've ended up helping with events out here and just doing things like little jobs here and there for, for nothing, just because it's something that I love to do. So I've realized that no matter how much I wish I could be like 100% online, get my revenue from online, I will always find jobs and people and opportunities face to face. And I don't really want to just be staring at a screen the whole time. So I've realized that like no matter where I go, I probably will end up finding work there as well. So it might be the fact that maybe 60% of my revenue is online and 40% is like, hey guys, I'm in the city, like who's got a project or whatnot. So I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah. But it helps you subsidize the whole thing. And if you enjoy, if you subsidize what you enjoy, then it's a win-win really.
It just happens. Like I was here and there was a gym pairing with a cafe and they didn't have any, didn't really have a plan for any of it. And they're like, oh, we're opening next week. Like, what do you suggest? And I'm like, please let me help you, because this is stressing me out. And then I ended up helping them. And now I'm training an amazing girl to do their socials for them, because there's a lot of like really cool girls out here that just haven't like, it's still quite progressive on the South Coast. It's a lot more, it's different on the East Coast. You don't see a lot of girls working or women working a lot, but you do see a few out here in the South. So I really wanted to find some young 20-something-year-old Sri Lankan girls that wanted to learn marketing and see if I could kind of give back and help, because you don't want to take any jobs out here that could be done by
of course.
And I just want to stick to stay in my lane. But there's a few girls that have kind of come forward who, they want to learn marketing and they want to learn how to do this. Nice. So I'm in the next few weeks before I leave, I'm training up a couple gals, especially.
Oh, that's really good.
That's exciting, and it just kind of helps because I don't want to take work from.
Of course, you've brought work with you. You don't.
Country. It's such a nice country. Everyone's so nice. I just kind of want to. I want to help. Yeah, I've got.
Oh, massively benefit them. That's really good. That's really good. See, that is, I suppose, the pro side of, you can help the community you're in while you're doing your remote work, because otherwise you could just kind of completely shut yourself in and not actually experience any of it. What's the point of being? What's the point?
Here, you could come out here and literally still get your oat flat whites, and still, I wasn't sure again what to expect, and then I kind of hated how many Western places that are out here in the avocado on toast, as we call it. Like today, you kind of look at your mates and like, right, do we want local or avocado on toast? And it's kind of some of them obviously are ran by locals, by a lot of Sri Lankan hands, but it's really tough out here. And unfortunately, this country they're in a lot of debt and they need the tourism. It's one of the only ways that they can.
So they're appeasing the tourism, basically.
Yeah, and there is a boom. Like from certain places, like I went to Hirakatia, which is like an hour and a half away, really cute, smaller surf spot. And I went back like a month later and I saw like, honestly, 10 new buildings or little coffee shops and stuff like just popping up. And I think a lot of people are scared that it's going to turn into Bali. No shit. I'm not being, no shame on Bali. I've actually not been. I've just seen, episode online. But I think a lot of people are scared that that's going to happen here, because I think there is areas, and I think it's fair to say there's areas that have just completely lost their culture and personality. I don't know enough, so I can't really, again, I'm just kind of saying.
No, I've heard Bali be a punchline a few times recently about like, that's what you don't want to become.
Yeah, there's literally T-shirts that my friend designed that says Sri Lanka, it's not Bali.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I came out here because I wanted the culture. I wanted to experience like the people, the place, and that's why I love that I'm staying with a family instead of a flat. But at the same time, it's a little more expensive. But I want to be around it because like every full moon, it's Poya Day. Everything shuts, and like you just kind of, and I freaking love the moon. Like I love astrology. In the future, I want to be that old lady who can tell everyone's astrological chart just like from my brain. I will start learning it properly. Instead of just sharing like 10,000 memes every month. But they love me, like they're, I love the culture out here.
You want the culture to influence you rather than you influence the culture.
Yes, I want to be on the right side of that. And that's why I kind of actively have been looking, like I said, for girls to kind of train and help them and just empower them. Like my whole thing is empowering. Obviously my work is empowering brands, because people come to me saying, how the hell do I translate my brand onto social media? And I kind of, for me, the main thing is like I hype them up. That's why I say hype girl on my Instagram. Like I hype people up. We get back to their why, and we learn how to just create content and just have fun online. And for people, when you're being yourself and when you're being the most authentic, that is how shit comes back around to you. Like I have not given out my CV. I've still not done a website, and like jobs and work and clients come to me because I'm just authentically just being a silly little goose online. I'm just being myself, but also saying, I'm here if you need me. Let's work together. And so far it works. And I know it sounds super weird.
No, because it's hard. It's hard to do it inauthentically. You can see it a mile off. You know, when there's massive brands that are trying to be like, oh, U8 or whatever on a video, you just know it's like it's just a marketing team. Yeah, it kills a video.
The perfectionism is gone. Yeah, I mean, I do worry about not the death, but I do worry about like my friends who are photographers and videographers. They're currently, I know they're struggling because everything's on the phone. But at the exact same time, there's a time and a place, and you just have to do it authentically. And again, that's kind of what I try and bring people back to, instead of them saying, "Do I follow trends? Do I do this?" No, you just have to be you. But let's figure out how to do that. So and that's kind of it's really hard at the minute, the social media world and people putting themselves out there. But I personally believe we're on the cusp of it coming all the way back around. Cancel culture is coming to an end, because what scares me is that people cannot authentically be themselves because they're scared of being cancelled. They're scared of being called out. And if we can't just either disagree or politely let someone know, by the way, that probably wasn't the best way to say that, or whatever. I know that on like this, I've probably said so many things that don't.
No, because I think you and I are quite similar. We'll always kind of hedge an opinion. Like you'll say an opinion, and be like, "But I don't mean to do this," and you'll kind
I know there's 10,000. It's just how my experience has led to that, and I know that there's 10,000 other people that have had a different experience, and therefore my opinion seems wrong or incorrect to someone. It's not. It's just my experience. So I know that that's why people are so scared to make moves online, and they're so scared to put themselves out there, their brands out there, because they are scared of being cancelled or being yelled at. Like it's happened to me, and I just, if you know someone, you know their intentions, you know they're not a dickhead. Just with love, just kind of let someone know your opinion, and that's why we're allowed to disagree, and you can still be besties with someone who have completely different opinions. I think that's why I find the States so hard at the minute, because it does feel so walking on eggshells, especially around the election there. And I know people that disinvited their brothers to Thanksgiving and stuff because they had a completely different opinion. Could never disinvite a brother because he had a different opinion, because I know that his intention, no matter who he voted for or what he believes in, I know that he means well, and he's just coming from his experiences. Like that.
As long as you can still have the conversation, it's when, because I had some American family that, you know, I know I had to kind of distance from, because it wasn't even the difference of opinion, it was the lack of dialogue. So you couldn't say a thing without it being just like, well, you think that and you're stupid and you're wrong. And that was it. It was like, we can't even have a back and forth about like, I'm confused how you think this. Can you clear that up for me? And it's like, I don't need to. I think what I think, that's it. And it's like, well, great, okay.
That's why everyone gets so divided, so divisive. And I don't want to say that this will solve everything, but I really do think that the more I learn where you're coming from, how you voted, why you do what you do, and then you also then listen to me in return. Guess what? Maybe if they do have a slightly more problematic, again, in my opinion, if you actually listen to my side and it just like a 16th changes their mind or helps them understand something else, in the future, maybe they will vote differently. Maybe actually they will integrate something that you said. Maybe they'll just feel, at the end of the day, it all usually comes from an insecurity and a lack, and someone feeling a little unloved, or they're too scared to let someone in because someone else has let them down. And that is where you get angry people then taking it out on other people. And this, because it's just so high at the minute. And I just think the more we can listen without judgment, you can just move the dial a tiny little bit and just bring some love back into everyone. No matter how
it felt tense. It did feel tense out there. Like, it was just like going through customs and everything. I just thought, this is just, it doesn't feel like the excitement isn't there. You know, Bryn was running through the airport being like, Florida, Florida, really excited. And I was just like, I just had this pang. Like, I've heard about people just being turned straight away around. I've heard about people being detained because they've said something that the president doesn't agree with on their phone. You know, it's just like, you hear these horror stories, and obviously it's a tiny number, but still, there was like a fear there. There was like a little. You shouldn't be having that for like a destination where you want to go and have a holiday. You shouldn't have that fear all the time.
Yeah,
it's such a shame. I want to thank everyone who's listened for listening and joining us this week. Join us next week, so with the second part of this episode, which will be the top 3 things Domi misses about the UK. So thank you for listening. We will see you next week.